Gosh darn, what's wrong with you? Go get it! Doggone it!
Transmission is go. Underbase is live.
Hello and welcome to the Underbase. I'm your host, King Grimlock, and I'm joined as ever by...
Aimee, aka Lady Wreck. How are you doing, Matt?
Oh, I was supposed to ask you.
I know, but it's such a wonderful day.
It is this day is the day that we start our year of... bowl ache. I can't even think what I'm going to say.
That's okay.
I've confused myself well and truly.
This is the day when everything awesome starts kicking off.
Yes, 2012, the year of Transformers comics, the year it's good to be a Transformers comic fan, kicks off, and we will be reviewing More Than Meets the Eye and number one, Roach and Roberts back together again for the first time properly.
Yes.
Since Records. Yeah, we won't spoil it too much, but this is a damn good comic, yeah?
Oh yeah. Right out of the gate, we're just going to say it. If you don't have it while we're reviewing, gosh darn, what's wrong with you? Go get it, doggone it!
Yeah, make sure you go and get it. It's top-notch comic. So, a new year, a new comic series, a new number one, an old guest. Andy, how you doing?
I'm good, cheers, thank you. And how's everybody here today?
Fabulous.
Well, yeah.
Good.
I'm going to quote you.
Yeah, that's fine.
From earlier today.
Yeah.
Hooray, reviewing it on Underbase. Underbase recording tonight. Not sarcastic for the first time in 2 years.
I had to put that down because I'm sure I've made that comment before, and it's been sarcastic. Today, it's not.
There's genuine love here.
Dare we believe that you enjoyed this comic?
I did. I didn't think it was... I don't think it was as awesome as then your following comment was, because you said, yeah, it was epic. And I was like, I don't think it was epic, but I think it's a really good start. And I'm looking forward to talking about this one.
Awesome. But before we get caught up with what's going on in More Than Meets the Eye and our Rodimus team... Aimee, we'll start with you. Any highlight this week other than this comic?
I've been really busy.
Saying that every week, Aimee.
I know, and I don't need to get into here and tell you all the things I've got going on. But I did read. I finished that issue of Birds of Prey that I mentioned that I started I think last week or whatever. So,
3 weeks. Actually, that was before Christmas.
Okay, all right. Here, I'll throw this out. I went to a Comic-Con. Okay,
that'll do.
Over the weekend, and I picked up a lot of comics, and I plan to read every single one of them. And I will throw out some of the stuff that I put out there. But I ran into a guy there. Had no idea who he was. Kicking myself now because now I have thoroughly researched who this guy is now, and I'm going, oh my gosh! Anyhow, there's a guy named Scott Lobdell.
Lobdell.
Yeah, Lobdell. Yeah. Kind of ran into him at the con, had no idea that I wasn't paying attention to who the special guests were, and then of course afterwards went oh my gosh, he's one of the guys that was supposed to be one of the special guests there, and I had no idea who he was. Anyhow, awesome guy. I'm picking up his comics now.
Wow.
But, okay, here's the thing. He was very personable, and it was enough to make me go, okay, I'm gonna swing by and pick up some comics, and Anyhow, that's my geek highlight. Don't worry, fans, if you go to a Comic-Con, make sure that you know who all the guests are, because if they walk up to you and start saying something, and you shake their hands like, oh, hi, I'm so-and-so, and, you're acting like a completely naive person, you will kick yourself in the butt the next time you figure out who that actually really was that you were talking to.
So, Scott Lobdell, yeah? Current writer of Red Hood and the Outlaws?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrote a lot of X-Men comics. Oh my gosh, he's a big deal.
Yeah, just a few X-Men comics. Yeah, he is kind of a big deal.
Yes, but a really sweet and nice guy.
Would you recognize him again?
I will absolutely recognize him again.
Hopefully.
Oh, goodness. If he knocked on my front door, I'd be like, oh, Scott!
I'm so embarrassed.
I am so embarrassed. Oh, my gosh. If he listens to this podcast, I will be like, oh gosh!
If he listens to this podcast, I'll be shocked. Is this the man that you saw? Otherwise, it's someone impersonating Scott Lobdell. It's not like that's happening.
No, that was absolutely him. I will not forget that face.
Oh, superb, superb. You also managed to run into a friend of the podcast as well, I believe.
Yes, Levio. I ran into Levio.
Yeah.
And I saw some good stuff.
That's like all you can say, right? Anyway.
That's all I can say. I saw some good stuff.
Andy.
Matthew.
Give us something spectacular.
Spectacular. I don't know whether it's spectacular, but I've been watching a hella load of a TV show from America called Dexter. Some people may know it, some people may not. If you don't know it, you should go and watch it because it's really good. I've burned through 3 seasons and nearly finished the 4th season. Each are about 12 episodes long and literally about an hour each episode.
You are unemployed.
Yes, I am. It's a really, really good TV series. I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but it's basically about a serial killer who works for the police, unbeknownst to the police that he's a serial killer, who kills only murderers and bad people. And it's a lot of good character, a lot of good writing, very fun and enjoyable. I recommend it.
Awesome. Well, I have been reading quite a lot because I got my Christmas comics in. So since we last did a show properly, I've been reading quite a number of comics. But the one that was stand out for me, let me think. Would probably be. I said Flash last time, didn't I? I'm going to have to go with Skull Kickers Volume 2, which is just good fun, really. It's about a barbarian and a dwarf going around being hitmen.
Oh, you've mentioned this before, haven't you?
Yeah, you give me a hard time about mentioning the same stuff again.
This is the second volume. It's the second volume. Shut up. Failing that, I have been watching more Justice League.
How are you getting on with that?
It's a bit dull.
Where are you on with Justice League?
About halfway through the first season. I've just done the Jason Blood first episode, and that was...
Oh, I hope by this point you were on to Unlimited.
No, dude, like, do you realise how little time I have in my life? But what I'm actually, no, I know what I'm going to recommend, because nobody else ever will in their lives, is something I got for Christmas, which surprised me how awesome it is, and that's Creo.
Which one?
I got Sideswipe.
Who's his Creon?
Sideswipe.
Oh, okay.
And a driver. It's epic. It's so much fun, to the point where I've gone and bought myself Starscream, Sentinel Prime and Ratchet in the last week.
No Megatron yet?
No, I'm waiting for them to come down in price a little, because they are damn pricey for what they are. They're damn pricey.
Well, Lego price, Mega Blocks price. I hear that stuff is all around the high-end market.
It is. It's high-end plastic. It's quite disturbing. But I didn't get a Creo before it came, when it came out and before I got any, because it was like, you look at it and you go, yeah, it looks alright in robot mode, it looks kind of cool in vehicle mode, and the Creons are awesome, but it doesn't transform. What's the point? And the whole point is that it doesn't transform. Mm-hmm. The whole point of it is that you have to take it apart and rebuild it. That's where the play comes in. That's where the fun comes in. And the fact that you can look at a mode and go, that doesn't look quite right. Well, how about if I move these bits around and move these bits around and put that, and you can then sort of it's just you spend so much time on them and playing with them and working bits out and trying to make it look more how you think is aesthetically pleasing. I've spent hours on the thing. I haven't had this much fun with a Transformers toy since I was a kid.
Wow.
Awesome.
And the Creons are superb. They've got more articulation than a Legends figure. And they're a little throwaway add-on idea. They're brilliant. I would thoroughly recommend it to anybody. Just go and don't pick up one of the small sets first because you'll probably be quite scarred. To be honest, because the smaller the set gets, the less detail you get in it. Go for Sideswipe. You can pick him up. I think he's 17 quid in Tesco's at the moment. He's about 16 quid on Amazon. 20 minutes to build each mode. You get a couple of Creons in there, and it's a really convincing car and a fairly good robot when you do a bit of tinkering.
Here's a question, Matt. What are your thoughts on the rumours of the G.I. Joe Creons?
If they do G.I. Joe Creo, I will be getting a Rattler, a Water Moccasin, and a His Tank.
Okay.
I might get 3 of each.
Oh, man.
I would love Creo Rattlers. I mean, the only downside of that is the fact that why would you rebuild it with G.I. Joe? With anything outside of Transformers, you kind of lose the point. Lego always gives you a couple of play patterns. You've got a couple of things you can build it into. Whereas with Creo, you've got obviously the robot and the vehicle. And if they get triple changes in, or combiners, even more so. It'll be awesome. Could you imagine going and picking up 5 box sets and be able to transform it, have car, robot, but if you put these 5 box sets together, you can build Menasor. It'd be awesome. G.I. Joe, my only fear would be that you'd build it and you go, well, I'm done. So after 20 minutes, you've got no reason to go back to it. Whereas with this, you build it once, you look at it, then you change it into the other mode, you look at it, and then you put it in your favourite mode, then you tinker with the modes. There's a lot of play to be had with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully they will do G.I. Joe, and hopefully they'll think of a way to do it to make it playable. I mean, I don't know, maybe something like you can turn a Rattler into a His Tank. Or turn Joe vehicles are fairly average, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because, I mean, it's only the Cobra vehicles anyone would give a toss about anyway.
Trouble Bubble.
Oh, Trouble Bubble.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, you win. Trouble Bubbles. As long as I can get a little Creon Destro.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
With a chromed head.
Yeah. Well, how else would you do it?
Exactly. But yeah, I'd be well up for that. Just looking down the Hasbro IPs as well, you could do just about anything, to be honest. But I do hope they do a second wave of Transformers ones, because, to be honest, it's expensive, and if you want to buy everything, it's a hell of a lot of money.
Oh man, Matt, are you suggesting that they should do My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Creo?
I think it'd be awesome. Could you imagine?
I would totally buy some, I think.
And it would market to girls as well.
Yeah.
Just saying, that would be a kind of cool idea, actually.
All your favourite characters in Creon form.
Yeah.
But all the extra Creons are just different ponies. See, you're there. You get all of the background characters, so you could just have a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
And then you could build up, I don't know, a castle or whatever for Celestia, and whatever the main one's called, treehouse thing, and the little dragon as a Creon. And
I'd be down with that. I'm sure a lot of people would be as well. And it doesn't feel quite as girly, it being Creon.
Yeah, because it's manly. It's building stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they've got a really good opportunity to sell here. A really big opportunity. And I hope that it's sold well enough to make it worthwhile.
Oh man, Mask Creo.
See, you're thinking outside the box. How awesome would it be?
Yeah.
And you just sort of be able to... Well, you'd be able to move it in its vehicle mode, but you'd also be able to turn it into its secondary mode.
Yep.
Again, and it's sort of... I would love them to be able to do sets that you could combine. So Mask, for example, you could take parts of it and make Boulder Hill. Something like that.
I'd be down with that.
So enough fiddle-faddle about Lego things. Let's crack straight in with our comic. We've put this off long enough, and we've held you guys off long enough.
Yep.
More Than Meets the Eye, issue number 1. Now, before we start, Andy,
Yes.
what what do you expect from this issue? How hyped were you for it? Was it something you were hoping for, or was it something you were cautiously pessimistic?
I don't know if you know this about me, Matt, but I don't get hyped over many things. So
That's why I asked you.
Yeah.
Okay. I went in with more hopes than I have for previous Transformer comic series because, you know, I don't know if you guys know this, but James Roberts is a pretty boss man who writes some pretty boss stuff.
Yeah,
Agreed.
friend of the podcast.
Just in case you forgot. I know.
Agreed.
I know. So there were much higher expectations on this comic series than I've had for, you know, the last 2 years or so.
Yeah.
Like, people mentioned Chaos, and I went, yeah, okay, it's a Transformers comic, let's see how it goes, and then I was frightfully disappointed. And then I hear that James is going to be on a full series, and I go, okay, let's put my optimism glasses on for a change and take off the pessimistic ones.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out towards at the end of the review, because I get the feeling Andy might actually have something to say this week.
We'll see. Instead of just silent loathing.
Yeah, the silent judgment of a man who's seen too much.
Oh, man.
Aimee, obviously, you're a Roberts nut.
You were going to say a Roberts man, weren't you?
Yeah, well, I almost
A Roberts
went there.
fan, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, let's go with that. That
Roberts
sounds
fan.
quite as creepy. You're a Roberts fan. Obviously, the reason I'm taking over on the leading side of this series is so you can have your little fangasms. Were
I didn't know you were going to say that.
at any point were you slightly worried about how this series was going to go?
Absolutely not.
You didn't at any point have any real fear that maybe this, you know, it was going to be a complete swing and a miss?
Well, maybe a little bit, because, like, you know, I know how fans can be. And I'm thinking, okay, all right, well, what if he says, you know, what if he puts something out there that people don't like? And I'm like, you know what? At least he has the guts to do it. But no, I mean, I don't know. And it still may go that way. I mean, you know, like I said, you never know how fans are going to react. And I think here on the Underbase, we've seen them react in ways that we're like, oh, okay, well, you didn't expect that. You know what? I don't know. It's not done yet. This is the first issue. And of course, you know, I'm completely and totally thrilled. No one else has seen it yet. So, except the you know, the 7-page teaser that, you know, preview that has come out. So, and everything seems to be like really positive about it. So I'm like, okay, you know, I would be lying if I said that I haven't had that little doubt in the back of my mind going, oh, what if people don't like it? I know I'm going to like it because I've liked everything that he's done. But you never know what fan reaction is going to be. So, you know, yeah, I did have those little, like, oh, I'm worried on behalf of him. But, like, for me, I'm absolutely positive that I will love it, and I've not been disappointed yet. So.
Excellent. Well, let's kick in then.
Okay.
Start with the covers. For the first time in a long time, IDW have gone balls out with the covers, and have given us, well, a crap ton, to be honest. A, B, C, and D are the 4 main characters, which we've discussed in the past in the news when we saw them at the conference. Cover E is the one that we, on the Underbase and at Full Metal Hero, was able to exclusively reveal to the world. And the retailer incentive cover is a sketch that we don't have.
Yes. We'll have to be surprised tomorrow.
We will be surprised as well when we see it. Aimee, which one are you having?
Well, as much as I love Alex Milne's stuff, I'm going to go with the Nick cover because we're only going to get him for 1 issue.
Yes. Unfortunately, this is the one and only Nick issue, but hopefully he will be sticking around on covers.
And I'd like to get the covers of the other 4. Like, I want to get the Image uncut because it's glorious and it's, you know, as a whole, and when it's cut up, it's like, oh, but you don't get to see all of them. So yes, I would love to get a print if Alex is listening, which I'm absolutely sure that he is. Yes, can we have a full print of that?
Andy, will you go for the 4-page splash or the Justice League International?
I'm afraid I have to go with the Justice League International on the basis that it is a reference to another comic book, and I kind of dig those ones where it's like a Transformers spin on another cover. They always make me smile. Yeah, I like this one. I've got nothing against the Alex Milne one. I give props to a man who's willing to do that many covers and stitch them all together, because that's got to be a hell of an undertaking. And it came out great, but I do prefer that bigger group shot with the nod included in it.
Yep.
I'm kind of on board with that as well, purely because I like the idea that Magnus is Batman.
Yeah.
That's kind of freaky.
Oh, goodness.
Kind of
Don't worry,
scary.
we've got
It works
plenty
as
of
well.
issues.
It does. It does.
We've got plenty of future issues to pick from just Alex stuff. So, and I've already seen one that I really, really, really like of his.
I'm sure Alex has changed the face on the Hot Rod as well, or the Rodimus, since we saw the first images.
Oh, you think?
I think so. I'll have to go back and look, but I do believe that's been edited slightly. But anyway, Transformers More Than Meets the Eye, #1. It feels so good to be at the start of a series again. It really does.
Yeah.
There's something really exciting about it. Written by James Roberts, art by Nick Roach, colours by Josh Burcham, lettered by Sean Lee, edited by John Barber. The story so far: the war between the Autobots and Decepticons is over. After the Matrix is used to purge its polluted core, the planet Cybertron reverts to a primordial state and sends a message to thousands of non-affiliated Transformers: come home. Meanwhile, in the remains of the spent Matrix, the Autobots discover a star map that appears to lead to Cyber Utopia, the home of the legendary Knights of Cybertron. Rodimus announces that he is to set off in search of the Knights. And what we effectively have in this comic, in these 22 pages, is the story of Rodimus getting his team together and leaving.
That's pretty good, quick, sum up of that.
Yeah.
If you were to say it in a sentence, that's what this comic is about. And it's kind of good to actually have a comic that has a direction that you can actually sit down and say within a sentence, oh, this is what it was about. I mean, there's so much more to it than that, but you can say it in a sentence. This is the conflict. This is what they do. This is what they accomplish in this one issue. They don't just sit around talking and saying they're going to do stuff. And no, they're like, hey, they got together and they get off the planet. Cool.
Yeah, the enjoyment comes of how it all comes about. And we open with Rodimus giving a speech to the assembled masses. As Wheeljack puts it, kid knows how to work a crowd. Spouting just nonsense, really, about, 12 million years ago on this very spot, the first Cybertronian realised he could change shape. 6 million years ago, right here, Nova Prime told the world that he'd build an ark. 4 million years ago, to the day, Optimus Prime stood where I now stand and turned down Megatron's first and only invitation to surrender. It's just, God. He is he's becoming a politician. He doesn't even know it.
Yeah.
It's almost cool that he's becoming the leader without having it thrust upon him like it was in G1.
Yeah.
He's reaching out and taking it himself, and he's flanked here by two of his trusted comrades, or as we find out, will become trusted comrades as the series go on: Ultra Magnus and Drift.
Mm-hmm. Drift sporting a new design.
Yeah, well, they are all sporting new designs.
Yeah. But I mean, Drift seems to be the most different than what we've seen. So yeah.
And I think we don't want to go into every detail of this comic book because there is so much, and there's a real experience of reading it. But there is so much humour in this, and there's so many little castaway lines and little moments. And just in this first page alone, Wheeljack makes a comment. Prowl goes, "Are you disagreeing, or are your pistons playing up?" Something that could only happen in a Transformers comic.
Yeah.
There's a little gag like that. And that's something that James has absolutely nailed, is just this little sense of humour to it.
Yeah.
And as we discover as we read through, this is definitely going to be a fun book.
Also, panel number 2, we get Emirate Zeron,
Yeah.
Dipstick!
And Dipstick.
And I'm wearing my red t-shirt to commemorate this.
And as Prowl points out, as soon as Rodimus said he was leaving, I mentally compiled 2 lists, those who'd go with him and those who'd stay behind. Trust me, all reliable indicators to suggest that tomorrow's launch was going to be a big non-event.
Mm-hmm. Somebody
I
is losing control.
It's good to have Prowl thrown in statistics again.
Yeah.
Numbers and quoting stuff, that's good.
Yeah, and it's just the cold logic of him's coming back as well. I also love the whole sort of the nod to itself. You know, this is a number 1, and they're going on about big launch being a massive sort of non-event. It's just a certain little very tongue in cheek. Liars A to D. Anybody know what that is?
What, Liars A to D?
Yep.
It's a reference to what James Roberts has already written once before. There was
it's a Transform fanfic.
Yeah, it was a fan comic that he did. Somebody made the reference back in Transforce magazine.
I think so, yeah.
But when I downloaded Eugenesis a couple years ago, it also came with it, and so I got a chance to read that with Eugenesis as well. So yeah, at first I thought, okay, that seems so familiar to me. It's so familiar. And then somebody on the IDW forums pointed it out and went, oh, that's right! That's cool. I like that.
It's lovely that he's able to work within it.
Yeah.
And again,
I mean,
throughout
it's just a title,
book,
but, you know.
Yeah, throughout this book we have we do have a lot of nods towards the Generation 1 cartoons and what's come since, and stuff that probably only makes sense to James and a small handful of other people. But then in no way are they desperately linked in.
No. These are things that you'll get if you're a fan, but, you know, if you're not a Transformers fan, it doesn't detract from the story at all. I mean, you know, maybe a few little things that I thought, like we'll get to it, but you know, stuff just in stuff that like I think fans will really like, just the little stuff that worked.
And we cut to our next scene, and it's a nail, for those who didn't listen to 125. 125 Nail is non-aligned indigenous life form, a Cybertronian who is neither Autobot nor Decepticon.
And it was said by Prowl.
Yeah, what a surprise. And we find that this guy has transformed himself to death.
Rigor mortis?
Yeah, basically he's transformed himself to death, changing non-stop for weeks. Just as Ratchet and Bumblebee are sort of looking over and discussing it, the thing transforms again. And yeah, assumes the shape of War for Cybertron Bumblebee's alt mode, which I thought was a lovely little nod. Ratchet's obviously, we're starting to get character development straight off the bat. Ratchet is concerned that he's getting too old. That he, you know, as he says, overheat transformation cogs, I've fixed millions of them. These damn fingers are getting too old. I should have been able to save him. And we're getting a real doubt coming through from Ratchet. And you still get that warmth there that was there in the start of Infiltration, when you had that sort of that warmth and that care for other people, but now it's sort of jaded by the last 5-6 years. And you could just tell as this comic goes on that he's just starting to have enough of it all.
Before we leave this page real quick, the guy that died from the transformed himself to death, he is from the last issue.
Right.
Yeah, he's got, if you see the
placard,
sign, that's the sign that was there. He was on page 12 of last issue, and he was also the guy that was referenced on page 9. They had like the profiles. We saw all of the individual guys that are like, "Who? Why is this person there? Why is this person there?" Yeah, he's that guy.
All right, cool.
The ape-looking face. So I just had to put that in there real quick. It was pointed out to me, so I thought, "Oh, that's cool." I mean, I knew the sign reference. I thought, oh, he was one of the guys that was, you know, holding the sign, but I didn't realize that he was the guy that was on page 19 as well. So, cool.
And
Sorry.
I mean, Andy, not wanting to put a blunter point on it, you are our morbid man.
Well, thank you.
How's that for a way for a Transformer to die?
That's pretty gruesome. It's basically like grinding your teeth till you die. That's how I took it. It's like I'm just wearing it out, and that's got to be a pretty painful way to go.
Yeah.
I
mean, this guy looks like he's got bullet holes in him as well, or something like.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what's happened there. I'm not sure if it's bits of him pinging out, like his transformation cog, bits of it starting to shear off and fly through his bodywork.
That would make sense, yeah.
That's what it comes across, something like that to me.
Yeah.
But as we find out we have this beautiful pause of a panel and Ratchet drops the bombshell. I'm leaving with Rodimus tonight. I'm sorry, I've been waiting for the right moment to tell you. The massively awkward silence suggests that probably wasn't it.
Too soon.
and Bumblebee properly freaks out. But Ratchet basically says that he wants to go. It's as he says, it's his swan song. He's getting too old, but he could still be help out there, and it's just something new for him.
Yeah. And not only that, as I thought it was interesting that he pointed out that he hasn't found a successor yet. I'm going, oh wow! Out of all of the other robots here, you haven't found a successor yet. So, like, huh?
Maybe that suggests he's gonna teach Red Alert in the future.
Yeah, maybe.
So, or somebody, get first aid or fix it, someone like that. If we pick up any of them, or we go and get a Paragon medic. If we go end up at that planet,
Oh man, yeah.
But it's just something like that is just a kind of almost a throwaway line, but it's setting up for the long term. That isn't a storyline that's going to be played out in the next 6 issues, or it's unlikely it is anyway. And that's something that I think this comics has done absolutely brilliantly, is just set up both first arc story and seamlessly set up second, third, and fourth arc story without a problem.
Oh yeah.
And then the strange jump to Cyclonus. Streaking over Cybertron, or what's left of it. And we have an interior monologue from him. Where basically he has been given a new lease of life by Vector Sigma when they were ejected from the chamber at the end of Chaos. Because obviously everything went kablooey, but where did they end up? We still don't know what happened at the end of Chaos. Not
only that, he was still affected by the dead universe because he was essentially, the walking undead.
Yeah.
But, Vector Sigma has, interjected here, and now all of a sudden, I'm guessing that those effects of the dead universe, or the whatever, the other side of whatever that they were on, that it's fixed him, so he's not like that dude anymore.
I like to think of it as cleaning up, so we don't need to worry about the dead universe anymore.
Yeah.
I think
which
the
is
dead
great.
universe is finished.
Yeah.
Which is good. Yeah, it deserves to be left where it was because it was getting drug along for a long time now.
Yeah.
But we do have within this page, it is only one page to start with, Cyclonus. At this point, we do have his history laid out, where he first met Scourge, a balcony where he watched the greatest moonrise of his life. We started to actually get some character Cyclonus rather than just this shambling zombie or complete doofus as he was in Heart of Darkness. And then we have this very interesting moment of trying to bring the farewell to an end and see if Rodimus remembers the promise and he cuts himself off as he finds familiar life signs. And we go to the next page. This is going on at quite a lick. I'm just reading through it. We've already gone through effectively 4 scenes in 5 pages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wanted to say real quick that I really, really liked right here on page 5, as we're seeing as he's talking about all of his life and all that, and little flashback. I love this panel right in the middle where you have the streaks that go through the 2 panels, where you go from the old, from the Cybertron right now to the old, and you have this streak right across there. I really, really like it when they find really easy ways to show movement without actually really showing movement. And I thought it was brilliant how they did that. Just the jet streams coming off of Cyclonus as he's going through those 2 panels and he's reminiscing, and it's like, oh wow, what a simple way to show movement without actually really showing it. I mean, oh wow, I saw that, and the first thing I thought was, that's brilliant.
Should we do the art at the end?
Yes.
I just wanted to point that out specifically.
I was just thinking, there's a lot of story. Unless there's something that really stands out as a stunning page to you.
Yeah.
Let's do the art at the end, because there was a lot of story to get through.
Yeah.
It is heavy going. So, page 6, another location, Prowl's quarters. And we find Prowl talking to Rewind and Chrome Dome. Chrome Dome?
Yes.
Chrome Dome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, get the right one. Rocking an awesome alt mode. I do love that. Robot mode. He looks awesome.
Yeah.
It's like a Cybertron in Dragster or something with jet boosters.
Very thin legs, though. I'm surprised he can hold himself up.
It's got some serious upper body strength going on there.
Yeah.
And we get, again, we know that we've got 2 of these guys are going to be More Than Meets the Eye's main character, or some of their main characters in Rewind and Chrome Dome.
Yeah.
So we do have a lot of character build-up focused on these 2. Prowl basically saying he's disappointed in him in Chrome Dome joining a Fool's Crusade. You could do with each and every one of them, even, the Chrome says, even Ratchet. But as Prowl says, he's gifted. No one else has his talents. And he turns to Rewind, asks him to try and persuade him to, and then he notices that Rewind's light is on, and he's recording everything. Because, as we soon find, Rewind is an archivist. He's archiving. He records literally everything. Lovely setup for the character straight away.
Yep.
And basically, Chrome Dome says he doesn't want to use his talents, which we don't know what they are. He's had no coverage in IDW really at all. He's used his talents, and he cuts himself off. That he says, in hindsight, I bitterly. And he says the point of using my talents is there's hardly going to draw a line under the past. So there's obviously a lot going on in Chrome Dome's background.
And not only that you get the feeling that Prowlus asked him to do something that he just doesn't want to do.
Oh, Prowl asks that of everybody, though, I think, at some point in their life.
Yeah.
With all of the things that are going on, though, right now on Cybertron, though, it just seems like Prowl would be gathering everybody he possibly could to work with him and help him. And, it just seems like to me that, I don't know. He's asked him to do something, and he's just, no, I'm not going to do it. And if I stay here, I know he's not going to stop hounding me until I do.
As Prowl shouts after them as they walk out, an interesting line, and I think it must have been quite difficult, because obviously James isn't writing Prowl, and he doesn't know how John is going to write him as such. So I don't know if they worked on this bit together, or John basically said, "Look, you write him how you're going to the first issue, and we'll get it together some way." But it's an interesting line from him. You just think the war is over, we can afford to stop fighting. And then Prowl loses it, throws his desk over, scattering cards everywhere, which I imagine are data cards for all the people who are going or staying.
It's the same desk. Sorry.
Yeah, it's his desk from Earth.
They picked him up and then took the desk too. Sorry.
And Prowl then instantly gets on the blower and says, couldn't change his mind. Already made necessary modifications. All you two need to do is load the cargo. Of course I'm serious. I'm always serious.
He's always serious, exactly.
Don't worry, Jim will fix it. She'll waddy.
Yeah. So, what's the cargo that Prowl's loading? I'm guessing onto the Lost Light. So many things being set up. So
Prowl, you bastard.
The best thing to do when we've been setting things up so heavily in the first 7 pages is go back 6 million years to Tailgate, who has lost his legs.
Poor Tailgate.
And we basically find that he has been desperately trying to get to the takeoff of the Ark. And there's 6 hours to launch. If Nova Prime and the others leave without me, their mission is doomed to failure. And yeah, as he tries to crawl towards his trailer to get try and detonate an energon ration, we cut to the next scene. So we're spanning the space of 6 million years at the moment, folks.
Don't worry, we are going to bring it all together, bring it home at the very end, because there is a purpose here.
Oh, yes. So we're only on page 9. And we cut to present-day Cybertron and Whirl monologuing.
You only see him. You don't see anything else. You just see him, and he's talking like he's talking to a couple people. And you're like, oh, okay, what's going on?
Yeah. And we find he's surrounded by liquid energon cheer. Basically, World's drunk. For want of a better term, World's drunk, and he's giving his leaving speech to his friends. Thank you for this private time we've shared over the last few weeks. Ever since the Nails came back, you've helped me get by, helped me offload and vent my frustrations and express myself, I guess. I suppose, in a way, you've kept me sane. And Cyclonus opens the door into the darkness, because Wells had a flame up for the entire time, looked in, and Whirl has the corpses of sweeps hung up on the wall.
Whirl is slowly becoming my favourite character.
I saw this page and said, oh, Andy's going to be really happy with this.
Yeah, it's awesome because it's really graphic as well. Nick did a really good job. I know we're not talking about the art, but I love that panel there. Like, Whirl turning around going, oh! Don't look at me!
It's that entire top of the page.
Yeah.
The 3 panels down the sides as well. The look on Cyclonus' face.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've never heard him knocking.
What are you doing?
And they're basically, Whirl's leathered. Whirl is drunk. That's the basic gist of this. Whirl is very, very drunk. And he dives at Cyclonus, tackles him, and Cyclonus is trying to talk sense into him, tell him he's not interested in a fight. And Whirl basically says, tough, because I am. Blows the place up by flicking his flame light, or whatever it is, into a pool of energon. Blows up as they both take off out of it. Is everyone following what the hell's going on?
At this point?
Oh, yeah.
There is so much happening in this.
At this point, I was just going, oh, wow, oh my gosh. But then I was like, okay, what are we going with that? I was like,
And we start to get introduced at the door of the Lost Light to some important characters. Red Alert is searching Brainstorm's briefcase. At which point, Brainstorm says, it's a work in progress. If I open it outside a controlled environment, you will end the world.
And he looks really sinister on that page as well.
He does. And I think we got this lovely thing. I'm exempt from all security checks. See, special dispensation from Optimus himself. It's authentic. Check out the rub sign. And it's got an Autobot rub sign there.
awesome. I love that.
See, when he was giving this mumbo jumbo, I was like, I don't trust you.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You were giving the mumbo jumbo to get past the security guard who just wants to have a break and have a cup of energon.
But it's the, as head of security, I'm supposed to let the galaxy's most famous... am I supposed to let the galaxy's most famous weapon engineer on board without checking his bags? Did I say famous? Sorry, I meant notorious. Next. Because as we know, Brainstorm is a borderline psychopath as well.
Yeah.
He's got no morals whatsoever.
Thanks to bullets.
Yeah. He is a nut job, so cannot wait for him to get on board. And then we meet someone who is, from what James was saying in his interview, is fast becoming his favourite character, is fast becoming mine. Swerve. Name, Megatron, but you can call me Death. Swerve, please tell us you're here to wave us off. No, I'm here for the quest. Love a good quest. I haven't been on a quest since the whole Lunar 1 thing. The Moon Quest. Stop saying quest.
So, can I go on board?
Of course, if you promise to never, ever speak. And again, we're not talking about the art, but the shot here of Swerve, all like, what? And Red Alert basically just hiding his face behind the clipboard. He's just sick of this. And then we meet Rung.
Yep.
Red Alert introduced 100 million. That's an impressive serial code. It's Rung. You know me, Red Alert. Rung, of course, I didn't recognise you. I was your psychiatrist for 6 centuries. Within these 2 pages, we've got so much character, so many of them.
Yeah.
We find out straight away. We've got Brainstorm, who's a nut job, who's got something in his briefcase you don't want to know about. You've got Red Alert, who's borderline paranoid. He's got his psychiatrist on board. You've got Swerve, who's the Joker and everybody's really annoyed with already. You've got Rung, who is basically the most inauspicious bot because even someone who was his patient for 6 centuries doesn't recognise him. And then we have Cyclonus introducing himself to Rung by knocking him over and breaking his arm off.
And his toys.
And his toys.
Yeah,
he does. Rung does
the
have
fan
toys.
nods here.
Rung does have toys. Nothing. What's in the crate? Nothing. Just trinkets. I collect models, spacecraft, arcs mainly, and he's holding up a G1 arc. Yeah. And you look at. Sorry, he's holding up. It's not a G1 arc. That's. I can't remember which one that is. But if you look at the ones that are falling out the box as well, you've got the G1 arc in there. You've got a Quintesson ship. What was Arbulus's from the start of the first of the movie?
Oh, okay, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, in the bottom right. I imagine if I enlarged that, you'd have a Blackbird. You'd have something from Star Wars, something from Star Trek.
Yeah. References from all over the place.
Yeah, and then halfway through the comic, we find out just how many people are getting on board the Lost Light. 208. 208, and Rodimus is very happy. And as Drift is sort of doing the tally, he hands the panel off to Ultra Magnus. And I said, "Why are you frowning? I mean, why are you frowning even more than normal?" And then we get
just how doomed this trip is. It's just, oh my gosh. Can I say it, please?
Which bit?
I want to read this whole thing.
Go, Andy, you first, and then Aimee go.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention on the last panel where they turn around just at the moment where Cyclonus is dashing past the window. I wanted there to be a little speech bubble of Cyclonus going, ah!
And Wells rockets flying out past him.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so this is what Ultra Magnus says. He says, he gets the pad and he starts reading off all of the people. He's dangerous. He's delusional. He's a liar. He's mad. I mean, literally mad. He was demoted after that incident with the Turbo Fox. I arrested him for impersonating a senior officer. He owes me money. I don't trust him or him, especially not in their combined form. And if he's who I think he is, never ever let him near a crossbow. And those are just the A's.
So
I want to know who all of these people are. All of them. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, you go through 6 Autobot characters beginning with an A, and there aren't that many.
9.
So how many of them are actually new characters, and how many of them are old characters is just waits to be seen. The guy with the crossbow is the one from Bullets. I can't remember his name.
Oh, okay.
Atomizer.
It's 11 characters that like they sum up in like 2 sentences.
The only two I know for definite is that's Atomizer, is the one with the crossbow, and the one impersonating a senior officer will be Aquafiend, the G2 character who's a master of disguise.
What about the Combiner?
I don't know about the Combiner. I think that's because it sounds like a Duocon or cassettes or something like that.
I was thinking maybe one of the multi-force, but I couldn't think of a multi-force. Two multi-force members with A's for names.
I don't think there's any, is there?
I don't think so. No.
So we just don't know yet. I'm sure we will find out very quickly.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And then we just have this, again, this is all character. This is all character build. We're finding out Rodimus is still quite impetuous and still quite, he basically sticks two fingers up to Bumblebee on this page. Drift is very calm, very by the book. He still won't play it, but Magnus is just this big, solid, just a stoic personality. He's gone back to being the Ultra Magnus from the earlier books. You should have put me on the door. I'd have turned away any wayward characters. Magnus, your definition of a wayward character is an Autobot who wears their badge at an angle. Yes, in direct contravention of the Military Regalia Act. And then we have this lovely panel at the bottom. Sometimes I wonder how you see the world, my friend. And you have, from Ultra Magnus's point of view, Rodimus and Drift with basically rap sheets.
A rundown of how he sees them. It's just hilarious.
Rodimus dreams of being heroic and important, tends not to follow the rules too closely, means well, but his impulsive actions often get him into trouble. Can be hot-headed. Risk of future criminal activity? Variable.
Viable.
Drift,
it's viable. It's viable.
Drift, ex-Decepticon, resist urge to arrest on sight, used to fight for Megatron, one of the most terrible warriors ever to stalk the face of Cybertron, granted amnesty under the Reintegration Act, risk of future criminal activity, off the scale. And we just start to get an idea of why Magnus hates everyone.
Oh gosh, I hope we have more of these, because that was just awesome.
And we cut back to the Whirl and Cyclonus fight. And Cyclonus decides to draw an end to it by basically transforming out of alt mode and starts to hurl, just shouting, telling him to stop. And basically, Whirl's trying to protect his reputation. You barged in and saw things. I don't care. I missed the sweeps of Scourge. My mistake. End of story. And Whirl's basically trying to just justify himself. I wasn't doing anything wrong. They were barely alive. A brainstem and a weak spark and a lot of set of own responses. Whirl, I don't care. I'm late for an appointment. Can we please stop fighting? What do you think, Decepticon? I'm not a Decepticon, never have been, fought beside Galvatron as a fellow Cybertronian. Now, for the last time, are we done?
We're not!
This has just got proper pub fight about it. It's brilliant. And we go back to the past. And Tailgate, bless him, is reaching for his Energon surprise. This would be easier if I didn't keep passing out. Still, if I've done my sums right, I'm going to reach the Ark in time. And Ratchet, Chrome Dome, and Rewind are it's just endless good lines. Are walking to the launch pad. Rewind, if you had a decent alt mode, we wouldn't have to walk to the launch pad. The alt mode bashing. Every time you get agitated, let's have a go at Rewind because he turns into a giant memory stick and not a super space tank or whatever. I don't see the point of turning into a giant memory stick. You might as well be a monoformer. Remember the old saying, everyone's shape serves a purpose? Yeah, tell that to Skylinks. At which point, Whirl and Cyclonus land in front of them. Just crash down to the ground. Whirl decides to pin everything on Cyclonus. Cyclonus unconscious on the floor, offline. Whirl's about to blow his head off. And before Ratchet can stop him, there is an almighty explosion from the ground that effectively tears Whirl in half.
Oh, it takes Whirl's face off.
Absolutely blasts him apart. At which point, we get a little note, any chance of a hand? And Tailgate gets hoisted out of the ground.
Everything suddenly comes together.
Have I missed the launch?
Oh.
Oh,
Only 6 million years late.
Yeah.
Or so.
But he doesn't know yet.
he still doesn't know.
He
Yeah, they
doesn't
don't tell him. They don't realize that he's,
Yeah, they don't know what's going on. And
pull him
then
out and help him.
and we have an image of missing his arms. Tailgate. But did I do that? Stay calm, stay calm, stay. He's dead, he's dead. He's dead, I killed him. And he just passes out again. Just rewinds that this is turning into a very odd day.
You have no idea.
And then we get, moving it forward, Ratchet basically says they're going to take Tailgate and Whirl onto the Lost Light because they're leaving. Okay, well, I regret saying this, but we're best bringing Whirl along too. We can't risk leaving him, anywhere really. Rewind says he's going to catch them up. I've just got to say goodbye to someone. And he's saying goodbye to Swindle. And he's getting something from Swindle.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting golden discs.
I think what makes it more interesting is what Swindle says about him after he picks up said discs.
Oh, yeah, you're sicker than I gave you credit for.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we don't know what golden discs mean in this continuity at all. But golden discs in Transformers are, Andy?
They hold records of the past, usually.
Mm.
And were first seen?
Well, in Beast Wars.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And became a big thing from there. So an archivist getting golden discs.
Questionable golden discs, apparently, as well.
Yeah. It's interesting to see where this is going to go. And we come to the launch. Red Alert wants to talk to you about something about something about Ratchet bringing a weapon of mass destruction on board. Obviously talking about Whirl. And Rodimus is sat at the controls, Drift on one side, Magnus on the other. Incoming call from Bumblebee. Want to take it? No. And the Lost Light lifts off, turns to go with Wheeljack, Jazz, Prowl, Bumblebee, Mirage, and Skylinks. Skylinks.
Oh, I love that. Skylinks, yay!
Sat there turning to watch. And Bumblebee turns to look at Prowl. Thought you said you had a plan. And as Prowl turns to look to Bumblebee, the Lost Light explodes.
Boom! My gosh! Wow! That was his plan? Blow them up? What? Oh my gosh! Prowl! Prowl, you're supposed to be a good guy! Does anybody else get the idea that maybe they need to have a sign over the high command that says, we're the good guys, remember?
Unexpected, to say the least.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know. I kind of saw something like this coming, especially with Brainstorm going on board, looking all suspicious. Don't look in my suitcase.
Yeah, and Prowl saying that he was loading something on board.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, we find out very quickly that the Lost Light hasn't been destroyed. It's just been sent elsewhere, completely out of control. And we find out other members of the team there. We've got Perceptor, Mainframe, Highbrow, Quantum Jump. Before we were ready, we've hopped halfway across the galaxy and we're flying, Brian. And I'm sorry, but I don't know why. We've got Hound in there as well. And there's a breach in the hull. And one of the hangars on the upper deck has split. And we see a load of Transformers falling out of the hull.
They're leaking robots.
Yeah. And then Rodimus says, set us down, we're not going anywhere until we find out why the quantum engines malfunctioned. Sensors indicate we're missing Fizzle, Polaris, Wave Rider, Hyperion, Rad, with 40 Autobots down all told. Rodimus just will not let them die. Obviously, this is going back, all the way back to Spotlight Rodimus, to Spotlight Hot Rod. No one dies on my watch. No one, not this time. Because obviously he lost his team in Spotlight Hot Rod and then went back for Double Dealer, who then obviously betrayed him. But yeah, we'll find them, track them, we'll fix them, and we'll get them back on track, and we'll make this a good day. Big place. Where do we start? How about over there, under the meteor shower? That's not a meteor shower. That's Fizzle, Polaris, Wave Rider, Hyperion, Brad. They're burning up as they enter the atmosphere.
Oh my gosh, that's so dark.
Sorry, I said not a good start.
He's, pinching the bridges of his nose, going, "Oh, not a good start."
Our epilogue for issue 1 is back in Prowl's quarters. And we have a message coming over just that completely shakes it. I mean, it's over all of Cybertron, really, this message coming through. Don't know who hears it, we don't know what's going on. Can anybody hear me? It's of the Lost Light. This message is a failed experiment. I think because if it had worked, I wouldn't have had to send it in the first place. I'm calling from the future, and wait a second, and I have a for Rodimus. Abort the mission. Do not leave Cybertron. There are terrible things out here. We were not prepared. If I miss and we've already left, please find a way to get this message to him now. It's a list of do's and don'ts. Actually, it's just a list of don'ts. Don't open the coffin. Don't let them take skids. Don't go to Delphi, and do not, I repeat, do not look in the basement. And
don't let the cheerleader die.
Don't let the cheerleader die.
For the sake of the Cybertronian race itself, please don't. To be continued.
Wow.
And that's issue 1 of More Than Meets the Eye.
Intense. It's very intense.
It's non-stop. Andy.
Yes.
You were looking forward to reviewing this.
Yeah.
Tell me, was it worth it?
Yeah, it was definitely a really good start to the series. It sets up a lot of stuff. It's got great art. It doesn't have, for me, a lot of what I would call epic moments, but I have really crazy, ridiculous standards for what I count as epic. Mm-hmm. But it has some really good moments, and it goes at a pace I like. I really do like this quick pace, and the character development and setup of everyone is spot on.
Okay.
Very enjoyable.
Aimee?
What was the question?
Are you pleased with it?
Oh, I am absolutely pleased with this. I'm like, I want next issue, doggone it. We have to, wait, how long? What? Wait, we have to do this every month, but like, I've got another issue that's coming, but I don't get this for another month. What? I can't, I don't know if I can wait that long.
Well, you mentioned the art there, Andy.
Yes.
We didn't really discuss it. There were a couple of little panels that we mentioned, but overall, how did you find Nick's and Josh's work?
One thing I want to pull up straight away. Do you think that Rodimus looks like he was based off of animated Lockdown? I say that because he's got the pipes on his legs. He's got the very slender body, the very tall body. It looks like his chest is very similar to Lockdown's as well, and it looks like the shoulders are a little bit different, granted, but the lower body and the torso look very familiar to me.
Yeah, I can see what you're getting at there. There are definite design choices that have got that to it. I mean, the first thing I noticed was the fact that his chest looks like Iron Man.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
But I love the blades on his kneecaps as well, where the arrows are. I thought that was a really nice design choice. But yeah, I see what you're getting at with the Lockdown comparison, definitely.
Yeah. As for the rest of the art, I like it a lot, but I think in some places, I don't know. like for Cyclonus, I still don't like his alt mode. I think it's a bit boring, but then again, that's what the Cyclonus alt mode looks like at this point in time. So I'm not really holding anything against it there.
It's a bit bland, isn't it? Because it is just block colours. There's nothing you can really do with it. Yeah,
it's not a really desperately interesting mode to look at. I do think in some places the proportions are a little bit too Nick Roche, like the Chrome Dome. The legs, like I mentioned, are for me a little bit too thin. He needed to bulk the lower body out a bit more, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's not huge complaints. It's just little niggles I have. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I'd like this to be done, but that's just my preference. It doesn't mean the artwork's bad at all. The coloring's good. I'm enjoying it for what it is. No issues really.
Excellent. Aimee?
I wanted to point out that there are moments in here where, because I've been reading the classic stuff, which I've never read before, but there are moments in here where I kind of feel like there's major nods to that. Like if you go back to Emmerich and Zeron and Dipstick and a few other little things, and just little nods here and there that I thought it's like he simplified the designs now down to a point that somehow I mean it's definitely works for today, absolutely, and I don't knock it at all, but it's like I get the feeling that there are nods to like other stuff that's like older that has come before, which wouldn't surprise me because hey, this is stuff that Nick grew up on, so it wouldn't surprise me one bit that would influence his art today. But then I have to say, I just love this panel. I didn't get to point it out because we were kind of flipping through it pretty quick. But if you go back to page 16, where Whirl is just getting up and kind of shaking himself off, there's just something really insect-like, and I almost want to say very alien, like from Alien's Alien, about him in that. Just how he's picking himself up and how he's just poised, and I was just like, wow, there's just something about how he did that. It was very creep factor in there, which, makes sense, because Whirl is, oh my gosh, Mr. Psychopath! Oh my heck. Wow, he was a big surprise. I did not expect to open this and see that about Whirl, but now that it's starting to really make sense, especially since, James has been building his character in little bits since he started writing for Transformers. So it's like, wow! Oh my gosh, I can see why he is not a part of the Wreckers. But still, there are lots of really great things about this. And I remember a last issue with the coloring, because we haven't touched on that yet, but how Chris said that the eye glows were really, really ramped up. Here, he's dialed it back. So it completely works for me. You just kind of get this feeling that, I've seen a lot of other stuff that Josh Bertram has done, and like his style of drawing really works like as if it's like a very close cousin to what Nick is doing. And so I'm like, these guys, they just work so perfectly together. I really like how the coloring and the lines they're just working together really great in this issue. So it's like, the only sad part about it, and the only thing I can really knock it is the fact that we only get it for one issue. Oh. So
yeah.
Other than that, I am loving everything in this, and yeah, there's little. This is Nick ramped up to like a bazillion. And I know that there are people out there that don't really have a lot of love for Nick's designs. I don't know why, but like I can if they're still, this is not going to change their mind, but I'm still just loving everything about it. I love the exaggerated size of Ultra Magnus. There's just really designy feel to it that just really, I just love it. I can't explain it better than that, other than the fact that I really like what's going on here. Yeah. How about you, Matt?
Art-wise, I do like what Nick's doing. I think there are a few panels that become a bit cluttered. We do have these lovely panels, like that one you pointed out of Well picking himself up. And there's a couple of other moments in here as well where he tackles Cyclonus, when Prowl flips his desk over. That's just got the lovely white background.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other panels where it gets... Messy's the wrong word, but it just feels a bit cluttered. And the colours don't always help. At certain points they exacerbate that problem. For example, I think a lot's lost in the explosion panel at the bottom of page 10. I know it's deliberately a very limited palette, but over and the shot of Cyclonus travelling over Cybertron, it's very bland. And as Andy pointed out, that's just Cyclonus.
Yeah.
That is Cyclonus' ult mode. But it doesn't... I mean, the panel with him flying over Cybertron's fine, but it feels very bland. It feels very stark. And in comparison to the rest of the comic, it's jarring, and I'm not sure... I imagine it is, it's a deliberate thing where they've kept it very, very, dead. But it's just... I don't know, it's jarring rather than noticeably a moment. The art is obviously used to its best when it's tying in with the story, when Nick's having fun with it. For example, the page 14, the transformations on page 14, where there's little cutaway panels within the panels or half off the side of the page. They're lovely moments. Drift's colouring seems to vary a little bit throughout the book. I'm not sure. It might just be the angles that he's at, but for example, on page 1 and page whatever it is, page 13, it just seems it doesn't seem as polished as these guys normally are. It's not saying it's bad. I am literally looking for faults because I feel like I should find something.
Yeah.
It's by no means bad. In fact, the designs are fantastic. The use of colours by Josh, for example, on the emergency scenes at the end of the book when they're in the interiors, when everything's got the red and orange hue on it, they're just glorious. He does open spaces beautifully well when there's Transformers in it. For example, the meteor shower. The 3 panels at the end of page 19 with the lost light taking off and the explosion, the reflections in the golden disc, the fact that that's obviously Nick's penciled it in, but the colouring on that's made that so special. And the explosions, the energon explosion that takes Whirl out, and for example Cyclonus' hyper burners and stuff like that all look glorious. And that page that we highlighted, page 10, with Whirl and Cyclonus, the discovery page, is a work of art. That top half of that page is stunning, and the script works well with it. But where it all works really well for me is when the script, the art, and the colour all tie together, and it's obvious that these guys are all on the same page.
Yeah.
And they're all working off the same ideas, and they're toying with the art, and they're doing things with the art that you can only do if you guys know each other well enough and trust each other to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's key, and I don't think that's going to be lost with Alex coming on board.
No.
Because obviously Alex and James developed a very good relationship quickly on 21 and 22, or 22 and 23.
22 and 23,
And I hope that develops over the coming, however long they're together with on this, because I don't see it changing too much, to be honest. Alex is superb at picking up other people's styles. And most of the designs are... Most of the Autobots, anyway, in this, are base panelled. You've got Drift, Rodimus, and Magnus, but, Whirl, Tailgate, Rewind, Chrome Dome, they've all got panelled faces, so you don't need Nick's level of expression to get it across. So I don't see it being too much of a problem getting it over. So overall, I'm more than impressed with the artwork. I'm very pleased with it. To be honest, this is just a damn good book.
Yeah.
Overall, I could dig problems if I really wanted to, but I am literally scraping for them. They've done a stand-up job. One of the better-looking comic books we've seen in the recent years. It just works very well. So not without its flaws, but that's because I'm expecting great things from these books. So I'm going to be looking for problems. It's a warning to you guys listening. But overall final thoughts and a mark out of 5. Start with you, Aimee.
You know what? There is just so much that I can gush about on this, but it's not going to be any different than I've done in the past. I really, really love what James is doing here. I love what he's building to. I like the fact that we get some payoff, even in this payoff that's been building, like in other stuff. Like, oh my gosh, Oral, oh my heck, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm not going to sit and gush about every little bit, because I have been talking about it quite a bit, just because wow. Just too much to love about this. I'm kind of at a conundrum here, because I'd like to give it a 5, but I know that I want to make sure that they continue to do more. So it's and I know in the past that I've taken a little bit, hey, compared to other comics, where would you rank this? I was like, this is really high. It's really good. Definitely have to make it at the least a 4, but at the most, I'm going to go with a 4.5. I know we don't do halves, but I'm going to do it anyhow, because I can. There's just so much going on here that I love. I can't wait to read next issue. I'm going to buy as many copies as I can, and I am going to give some of these out. So if anybody's out there that doesn't have a copy or would like to get one but can't, go check out my Facebook page. You might win one.
Aimee's giving stuff away for free, people.
Yeah.
Shameless plugging.
I know, but this is just too good.
No, it's on Aimee's notice. It's not on the Underbase official one.
No. I didn't discuss it with any of you guys before I did it, so I thought, yeah, I like this too much, and it'll only be limited to whatever comic books or issues that I can actually buy here in the area, which I have to say will probably be not too many. So, yeah, there's only one comic shop nearby, and the other one I have to order stuff with. So, whatever issues he's got, I'm going to go and buy him out. If that means he's got 2 issues, then it's 2 issues. If that means that he's got 5, I will buy 5. But at the least, I thought, I've heard in the past, put your money where your mouth, or put your mouth, whatever. Put your money where your mouth is. And this one, I have to say, I'm putting my money where my mouth is on this one, because I think it's really great and I love it. So, yeah. I love this issue. Can we have more of this? I just liked how intense it was. It's like, we get to get this. We get to get this every month for the rest of the year. And the whole idea of that just thrills me, because it's like, this is just starting. This is the first issue. And we're going to get to see this for the rest of 2012. That just makes me so happy. I am so pleased to be getting this every month, this level. So I'm like, I think it'll just be fabulous. So, yeah.
Okay, Andy.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that it was a really good, solid start. It's a great foundation to build on, because you get all the characters that you're gonna have through the series with a little bit of character development, so you get a hint of who they are and who they're gonna become. And if you're new to the series, you're not going to be lost on anyone, which is a great start. It sets up. It's just a really good setup for everything it's going to happen. I'm really not sure what else to say from that. It was fun, and that's what Transformers has been lacking for a long time. And hopefully, this quality, which I'm sure is it's going to continue, and it's going to get even better. So, like I say, a good solid 4. I'm very pleased with this start and look forward to see where it goes.
Okay. Well, I am going to do what I don't do normally, and I'm going to give this a 5. I think as a number 1, Transformers or otherwise any comic, this is a damn good comic. This is exactly what a number 1 needs to be. It gets your characters in place, as Andy just said. It gives you set up for story that's going to happen in the next 6 issues and is going to happen in the next 20 issues. We've got cliffhangers ahoy, we've got great characters starting off, and we've got interesting past and future to play out. The artwork's lovely, great colouring, a humorous script, but it's still got its moments of seriousness, some really dark, sinister, nasty stuff in there as well. There's just what you want from the comics, because they can go there, they can go with it. RID's got a lot to live up to be honest. To be able to compete with it, well, not compete, to be the sister of this, the same,
contender. It's a contender.
Yeah. Well, then, that's the thing. They're not contenders. They are together. They are one book. But RID's got a long way to go to keep up with it. This is phenomenal comic book. Great storytelling, great pacing, just a really good Transformers comic, which isn't something you say that often. As a number one as well, it's mind-blowingly good. I cannot wait for issue 2, issue 3, issue 10. I just want to know what's happened. This has got the real feeling of a big Indiana Jones in space with a team. And you've got the odd characters, you've got the psychos in there, you've got the characters that are going to cause problems, and you've got everything going for it. And as I just said, I don't think Alex coming on board is going to change the art style too much. I think he's going to pick up beautifully from Nick's designs and just carry it on. And I think this is going to be a really, really solid addition to the Transformers universe. I am surprised at how good it was, if I'm honest. I thought it would be good. It's not perfect yet.
Yeah.
But it's damn good. It's damn good.
It's a good standard to start keeping consistently.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
if
yeah.
they can hit this every single month at this level of writing, geesh, Transformers, like I said, we get to have the opportunity to read this, and I am just thrilled at that.
Yeah.
The problem then becomes, if this becomes the standard, I'm going to have to reevaluate my marking system.
Yeah, I know.
Because then I'm going to want more.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, I'm working on the basis that as long as I'm entertained and I'm coming away wanting to read it again and wanting to read the next issue, each issue, then it can have 5s all the way along.
Yeah.
I've just had a quick nose at the back of the book, and it's got the cover list in there. Now, what I didn't realise is that there are 2 retailer incentives. A is a gatefold of the 4 issues, of the 4 covers, A, B, C, D.
Oh.
So you want your full image, get your retailer incentive cover A. Now, retailer incentive cover B is a hand-drawn sketch by Josh Burcham.
Okay, that's what the blank page maybe is?
I don't know if that's possible. Is Josh hand-drawing every single retailer B cover? If it's 1 in 50 or something, it's possible.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I would love to see that, actually.
Awesome.
Just to piggyback on what I said about these 2, their styles being very close, I think you will, if that's the case, then everybody's about to see all of the good stuff that Josh is capable of.
Yeah.
That just, I can't wait to see that. Oh, you're right, here it is. Wow. I wish I would have looked more at that. Oh, goodness.
Right, so that's the end of More Than Meets the Eye issue 1.
Yep.
We've got...
I'm thoroughly satisfied.
Yeah, I feel very content with having sat that through that. Yep. Andy, has it been worth the 18 months?
The 18 months didn't happen. This is the first Transformers comic I've read in 2 years. How about that instead? How about saying that?
Wipe it from your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, that seems fair. Are you looking forward to RID?
I'm interested to see what they do with RID and how that compares to More Than Meets the Eye. It's going to be interesting to see how these 2 series stack up against each other.
Yeah, as I've tried to say to people, I don't see these as being competing against each other. They should be working alongside each other.
Yeah.
I'm hoping RID is going to be, because this seems to be the light-hearted, balls to the wall action adventure. I'm hoping RID, especially when considering its setting, the sort of the political upheaval of Cybertron, is going to be a lot more considered. But I think you could get a lot more going on in RID than you might be able to get going on in more than meets the eye. So I see them complementing each other rather than being competing against each other. But yeah, I mean, it's got a hell of a lot to stand up to, hasn't it?
I like that idea of, this one being the intense one and the other one being the slow, calculating, oh my gosh moments as it builds up. And, we'll see. We'll see how it goes because, haven't got it yet. So.
Right, well, that's the end of the review. Andy, you will not be back for RID.
Oh.
I know you're actually almost disappointed, aren't you?
A little bit. Yeah, I just want to see how it goes.
You will be reading it, though, of course.
Yeah, with any luck.
Well, that says it all, really.
Yep.
You actually want to read it.
Yeah.
And you haven't even seen it yet.
Right, so there we go. Aimee?
Yep.
Thank you very much. Andy, we'll see you in a month, mate, rather than 2 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know. And we will see you guys all next week for hopefully Autocracy #1.
Oh, of course, that's out now as well.
I know.
Yep.
It's all going good.
Great time to be a Transformers comic fan.
Oh, yes. Okay, we'll see everyone next time on the Underbase.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Underbase complete. Cease transmission.
And of course, we need to hand over to the man in the know. It's going to be me again.
Awesome.
And just cut that last bit off the end. It sounds stupid.
Okay.
Sorry, we're just taking a pause for a second.
I'm trolling while you're doing all this.
Yeah.
We're going to have to pause right here for a minute. I just got that sent to me, like, right now. I guess they're sorry, Andy, I don't know if you downloaded it, but it's this. Okay, good. They're starting a new campaign, I guess. They're going to start pimping this tomorrow, so hey, woohoo! I was too cool not to share. I thought, they're going to have, I don't know, you can read for yourself. That's what they wrote to me. So, yay, Chloe's our new best friend.
Go whack that up on the site now, quickly.
Okay, cool. Because I thought,
Everyone hates Whirl.
Everyone.
What are the other ones then?
No, Whirl hates everyone.
It'll be one for each character.
It's the other way around. It sounds like they're going to put this on like several different sites. So if everybody can put one up, then it'll be like, yeah, go find them. Yeah. Now I'm taking this as that we can put it up right now.
Stuff, it's going up.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. It's launching tomorrow. There's
Is that
12
when the comic
images.
comes out?
Yep, tomorrow is when when it's available for purchase. So.
Sweet.
Yeah, and it says that they're distributing to 12 different outlets. So, this one's the Underbase one. We got Whirl!
I just like the fact that we're in the top 12.
Yeah, I know. We're in the top 12. Wow. Awesome. Now we're going to start flipping through all the websites going, okay, who's next?
I think you got to wonder who's #1. Where are we on the scale? Or where are you guys on the scale, I should say?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think they sent us well, deliberately, because they knew that we love well.
Yeah.
Right. Where did I put that file?
12. Oh, you know what? It's got to be all the 12 main characters.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah. Slow on the uptake there. Me.
You're never slow on the uptake, Aimee.
I usually always am, actually.
I think Matt was being nice.
You are when you're drugged up at the moment.
I've got a little bit of a headache today, so I'm like, Not over there. Of course, it just came out, so I don't think everybody's going to have theirs up. By the end of the day, I'm going to keep looking, see if I can find who else to God. Who else has one?
Right. Let's get this. Right. Okay. Shall we get
Yes.
back to it then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Where were we? We were just finishing up on Creo, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I'm sure Aimee can edit it together.
Yeah.
Good luck, Aimee.
As long as we remember where we were, then we can go.
Yeah.
Now we'll know where we're going.
So, Aimee, you going to BotCon this year?
I am.
You American? Oh, shit.
I am.
Okay.
I bought
You going
tickets.
to Texas?
I'm going to Texas. Yeah.
Have you bought a Stetson?
I have not bought a Stetson.
You need to, otherwise you won't fit in.
I married a Texan. I think that I would know whether or not they have they're going to wear a Stetson. And my husband's from Texas. In fact, Dallas-Fort Worth area is where he's from.
See, you'll turn back, you'll look at your husband, turn around, and then look at him again, and he'll be wearing a Stetson and some chapless, assless chaps. And you'll be like, what?
Lovely.
And then he'll have his, he'll have his lasso and whatnot. You'll be like, what the fuck did you get that? And he'd be like, well, you know
Honey,
me, honey.
He's lived
I'm
there
fucking
most
ninja.
of his life. He doesn't have any of those things.
That you know about. See, that could be his dark, deep, dirty secret that he doesn't want you to find out about because it's so humiliating. You need to confront him tonight. Do you actually have a Stetson and have assless chaps? I need to know before we head to Texas.
Now. Thank you, Andy.
It's
He's
okay.
gonna wonder, where's this coming from? I was like,
Who the fuck are you speaking to? Just the English, honey, just the English.
I don't want you speaking to them anymore.
Yeehaw.